Welcome to News Decoder's webinar on war in Ukraine. My name is Nelson Graves. I'm the founder of News Decoder, and I'll be your moderator today.
And the longer term is, when does this stop and how far will it go? And is it going to drag the rest of us in?
The damage that has been done now, the generations of people who are going to be left filled with hatred for Russia in a way they perhaps weren't before.
I think it will get worse. My concern is Putin feels cornered. There's more incentive for him to increase attacks rather than look for a negotiated solution.
It seems to me that Putin is threatening and challenging the entire multilateral system. The question is, are they powerless?
The silver lining for me is to see the way that refugees are being welcomed into neighbouring countries, and as always, that we see the best and the worst of humanity at the same time.
Bizarrely, I think the way the president of Ukraine has come out of this.
And Putin himself, before this began, reminded the world that Russia had a nuclear weapon.
We shouldn't forget the global economic impact of all of this. We're already seeing it with fuel prices.
In terms of the Ghanaian economy, prices are shooting through the roof.
In the United States, I know that it's pretty divided because some people are passionate about helping out Ukraine and then other people don't want to get involved. The rising gas prices, for example, that's making people very frustrated.
Interesting point here, how our president takes decisions without consulting with the country. And of course, as you already said, that's a European problem. And as Colombia, we should not be really involved in this.
What about defending democracy against autocracy? Hospitals are being bombed, human rights are being violated, schools are being bombed. Isn't that more important than gas prices?
I think it's also worth bearing in mind his fear of losing power. He's had it for so long.
In blunt terms, he's completely brutal and has proved himself to be time and time again.
But I think it would be interesting to know what's going on in his entourage. Generals in charge of the section dealing with Ukraine have been put under house arrest, presumably for getting the analysis wrong.
So I think that some of the soldiers are already beginning to say this is not what we're going to do, and they're already starting to revolt. But I don't think this will go on that long.
27 out of 50 respondents, so that's 54%, believe that Ukraine will survive as a sovereign independent nation.
In some way, you can argue that a country is a sovereign state as long as other countries recognize it.
If we solve this conflict fast, but it means that Russia will get Ukraine, what will happen if other countries then see that they can go in and take back other countries? So, for example, China and Taiwan.
The US has invaded or toppled regimes in more than 50 countries and maintains more than 800 countries in the world. Can we consider the US to be hypocritical?
We can now see videos from people our own age who are in the middle of Ukraine and in the middle of war.
We have the fake news and the real news.
On many social media outlets, I've seen many people posting what their life is like every day. And it talks about being in a bunker, like hearing like bombings, and just that, I believe, is very important to not see these people as a statistic and see people as people.
And thank you all for joining, and I wish you all the very best.